All right, folks, welcome back. Idiot drivers, get out of the way. Come on. Thank you for joining us here on PsiOp Radio Live this Sunday evening here in South Austin, Texas. Anomaly Radio Ranch.
The Anomaly Radio Ranch. I'll tell you what. You know, let's play the police state drinking game.
Oh, boy.
And let's start it off with some positive news. What a police state doesn't look like. It doesn't look like the Netherlands because they're closing down prisons for lack of criminals.
What a concept. When you criminalize all sorts of simple things, things that shouldn't be criminalized, you end up with a police state.
Absolutely. And so have a drink, and I'll just have my water here.
So bravenewtraveler.com reports Netherlands running out of criminals. Is immorality to blame? Apparently, drugs and sex don't lead to more crime. Or do they? I have to admit, when I first saw the headline, Netherlands to close prisons for lack of criminals, I thought it was a joke. But apparently a, quote, decline in crime has led to overcapacity in the prison system. And to deal with the loss of jobs that will occur with the closures, some reprieve may come from Belgium, who apparently has too many criminals. That got me thinking, why does one country have so few criminals it has to shut down prisons, and the country next door has so many that they have to export the prisoners? Boing Boing points out in their coverage of the shutdowns that in the Netherlands, most drugs are legal, though a commenter who appears Dutch says this isn't the case, only marijuana is semi-legal. And the article I guess they're quoting from is over at nrc.nl. That's the NRC Handelsblad. Netherlands to close prisons for lack of criminals.
They're not into arresting people over there. That's what I noticed when I was there last year. Unless it's absolutely necessary. They don't arrest people. Well, this just goes to show you that we hear all of these dire predictions about what might happen if we legalize marijuana in this country. And, well, if you would look at the one example that we've got, the Netherlands has, well, it's an official tolerance policy. It's not really legal, but they officially, tolerate it. So they've been living that way now for a while, and where's the big crime wave that we were warned back in the 30s with the reefer madness movies and all the propaganda and what have you, that all this terrible doom was going to descend on the land because of this fad, this newfangled weed smoking fad. And, well, it's not newfangled anymore, and you'd be hard-pressed to find any reliable evidence that it does any physical harm or that it contributes in a negative way to society. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there's addicts of everything,
and you can
addiction is a problem.
Yes, and you can certainly abuse anything. But if you're going to abuse something, I got to tell you.
Shut up and smoke this.
Yeah. The weed
is the
one to abuse. If you got to have a vice, so light up in the morning and stay lit all day, and...
Speaking of being lit, I saw The Harder They Come, finally, the classic.
I haven't seen that.
Neither had I. This is the classic reggae film with, I believe, Jimmy Cliff.
Yeah.
And, very recognizable song, The Harder They Come, The Harder They Fall, and several other, of course, very recognizable reggae classics. And while the main character is not, a hero in the sense of, he definitely does bad, wrong things. He kills people left and right for things that he... that's not self-defense. Your liberty ends where somebody else's liberty begins. But, there is the bit where he he gets involved in the drug trade and he rebels against the people up the ladder because he realizes when a news article, like he helps, throw a big bundle of presumably marijuana onto a plane that just touches down just long enough to have its cargo thrown on, and it takes off. And he reads in the newspaper later about it getting caught and the amount of money that's being generated, and he does the math. He's like, man, we're getting screwed here, and so he basically rebels against the local mediator between the higher ups, and who of course end up being connected also to the cops. The cops are not necessarily in on the take in this particular case, but they're definitely in control of the flow, so there's a little bit of a rebel movement there when he chases off the local mediator gang leader, much to the cheers of the local children who throw cans at the guy as he runs away. But not necessarily an uplifting movie. Very difficult to find. There's subtitles in some parts because, boy, some of those thick Jamaican accents can be nearly impenetrable to the average American listener. But at the same time, I really dig it. Which reminds me, just a kind of an offhand thing. There's a documentary out there on Bob Marley that I swear his mom says that, or the narrator actually says that he had a history of being clairvoyant.
I never heard that one.
And that he saw the future. That he had dreams about things going on that he couldn't have known about, and predictive visions, something. So
there's an allegation that his cancer was caused, that it was the Jack Ruby variety. He was fed cancer. I think Alex Constantine wrote about that in his book about the covert war on rock by the CIA.
He was certainly political.
He was.
We'll be right back after the top of the hour. This is PsiOp Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. Stay with us.